Welcome, beautiful people. Episode 88 of the best sports show out. Highly Opinionated is on your screen. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your co-host, Josh. Ladies and gentlemen, the best co-host in the game, my guy, host of the Club JG podcast. Obviously, a co-host here on Highly Opinionated. What's up, JG? How you doing, brother?
Josh, what's going on with you, bro? How you feeling?
I'm good, man. Living the life, man. Everything good with you? How was your weekend?
Weekend was good, man. Sad to say goodbye to the NBA. Sad to say goodbye to the NHL, but all good things must come to an end. It's looking forward to the offseason now. We still got the WNBA going on along with baseball, so sports are nonstop. It's still going.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's definitely tough to say goodbye to the NHL. Definitely tough to say goodbye to the NBA. But baseball's heating up. WNBA. We got the World Cup. We'll get into that later on in the episode. So still a great time to be a sports fan. Ladies and gentlemen, we're missing the third member of our esteemed panel. The great editor, the great producer, the most important guy here on Highly Opinionated, Ross. He won't be on camera this week. Sending Ross our best wishes. Your family, we love you. Keep your head up, brother. Any way we can help you, man. You know we're here to help you, bro. So just know that from your Highly Opinionated family. I want to thank you guys for watching and tuning into episode 87 last week. Had the great Jamal Williams on from WRIC ABC 8 in Richmond, Virginia. So if you haven't checked out episode 87, check that out with the great Jamal Williams, man. Great guy, great content, man. The sky's the limit for that young man. So looking forward to you guys checking out episode 87 with Jamal Williams. As far as episode 88, before we get started with episode 88, we want to thank you guys. You guys make Highly Opinionated, as I say every week. Without you guys' support, without you guys liking, subscribing, commenting, etc., this show wouldn't be anything. So we appreciate you guys. You can follow us on Instagram, follow us on TikTok, subscribe to us on YouTube, and follow us on X. As you guys see on the screen, those are all our social handles where you can follow us at on different platforms. Again, you guys' support means the world to us. JG, my brother, ready to get episode 88 started?
Yes, I am. Let's go.
Let's get it. Let's start. Start off with some sports news, man. To start off with, congratulations are in order to the Carolina Hurricanes. They defeated the Las Vegas Golden Knights in 6 games. They won game 6 in Las Vegas. Here's how it sounded from ESPN's Sean McDonough.
They're going to clinch it appropriately with a total team effort and a shutout. The Carolina Hurricanes have won the Stanley Cup for the second time.
Yes, they did. They defeated as I said earlier, Carolina defeated the Golden Knights 3-0. They won as you saw, the Stanley Cup in 6 games. Jordan Staal, it becomes the oldest player that won the Conn Smythe winner. 37 years old, 277 days. He scored a goal in each of the first 5 games and finished the Stanley Cup with 6 goals for the series. He was the best on defense. He won 69% of his faceoffs. So congratulations to Jordan Staal. Congratulations to the Carolina Hurricanes on winning the Stanley Cup Finals. JG, your thoughts on Carolina winning the Stanley Cup?
Yeah, Carolina came back and dominated. Vegas got off to the hot start in the Stanley Cup, stealing one in Carolina. Everyone thought, Vegas was, the better team. I thought Vegas was a better team, just watching. But then you saw just holes in their defense, and they couldn't win a faceoff. You just said it. Staal won 69% of his faceoffs, and the more possessions you have, the more shots on the goal you have equals more goals. So it just kind of adds up to that math. In the end, Carolina won with being who they were. They were the best team all year long on defense, and it's fitting that they win the Stanley Cup and end the season with a shutout. Vegas just couldn't find their offense. They were inconsistent all series long. They gave up big leads all through the series. They probably should have lost the series in 5 games with how they played, but everything kind of came back to bite them. The flaws that we saw in the first couple of games, it came back to bite them, and ultimately we sit here with Carolina being the Stanley Cup champions.
I just thought when I going into the series, you picked Vegas, I picked Carolina. I just thought it was Carolina's time. The defense, in defense carries, defense wins you championships. I can get all the scoring, but if you stop someone from scoring, that's half the battle. You feel me? So obviously defense matters. And Carolina, this was their 8th consecutive playoff appearance. They lost 3 times in the conference finals. They lost 3 times in the second round, and they lost 1 time in the first round. So it was, as we'll get to later on with another team that lost in the championship series, it's elevation in life. It's steps in life. Everything's just not going to happen to you just because you think it's your time or you think it's your moment. It's called steps in elevation and experience in life. So I'm happy that Carolina was finally able to get that monkey off their back, stepping up each, going from first round to second round to third round, and finally winning the Stanley Cup. Carolina's head coach Brad Armour. I'm happy for him. I'm happy for the Carolina Hurricanes organization. Again, I'm sure they would have loved to win the Stanley Cup in 5 games because they would have won it on their home ice. But it's nothing better than winning the Stanley Cup. I think the Stanley Cup is the best trophy in sports, just because. So for me, congratulations to the Carolina Hurricanes. Congratulations to Jordan Staal, oldest Conn Smythe Trophy winner. Congratulations to Ron Armour, former player for Carolina. Got it done as a Carolina. Got it done as a player to win the Stanley Cup. And now has done it as a coach to win the Stanley Cup. Congratulations again to the Carolina Hurricanes. JG, let's move on to our second topic. A little NFL news. Sean Payton has agreed to a new 5-year contract with the Denver Broncos. There's 2 years remaining left on his current deal, so he's basically being Denver for the next 7 years. I'll let you start us off. Your thoughts on Sean Payton extending his contract with the Denver Broncos?
Yeah, no surprise there. That's an easy call. He's revitalized this Denver Broncos franchise. They finally have what resembles a franchise quarterback in Bo Nix. Some people may still have some questions there, but I think Bo Nix is a very good quarterback. I think he will get better, primarily because of the great coaching he has with Sean Payton. Coaching matters very much in the NFL. You can have the most talented team in the world, but if your coaching is not on par, eventually it will come back to bite you in the most crucial of times, especially in the NFL playoffs. I think Sean Payton has done a great job with this Denver Broncos team. I think they may not have the record this upcoming season that they had this past season, because remember, the Broncos won a lot of their games, 1-score games, close games, and all that. You don't expect a team to replicate that necessarily, even though they have the talent to win games. Obviously, you can expect the Broncos to be a playoff bound team, even in that loaded AFC West with the Chargers and the Kansas City Chiefs on their way back. But easy call for me. Sean Payton's been a great coach for a long time. Coached the likes of Drew Brees and obviously brought that championship to the New Orleans Saints. Just got the Denver Broncos to the AFC Championship game. And you can argue that if had Bo Nix not gotten injured in that playoff game versus Buffalo, the Broncos would have had a very good chance of representing the AFC in this past year's Super Bowl against the Seattle Seahawks.
I agree with that statement for sure. They definitely – I thought if Bo Nix was not hurt, I would have picked Denver to beat New England. That's just me. We don't know if they would have beat New England, but obviously you have a better chance of winning the game with your starting quarterback over your backup quarterback for sure. Last season, the Denver Broncos were 14-3. They were tied with the New England Patriots for the most wins in the AFC. Sean Payton in each season he's upped his win total. So the first year in 2023, he won 8 games. In 2024, he won 10 games. In 2025, he won 14 games. Now, I'm telling you now, that's going to drop this season because I don't think the Broncos will be 15-2. If you look at the AFC West standings last year, the Broncos were 14-3. The Chargers were 11-6. Kansas City was 6-11, and the Las Vegas Raiders were 3-14. I expect the Chargers to be better. I expect the Chiefs to be better, and I expect the Raiders to be pesky and better. Now, when I say pesky and better, I'm not picking the Raiders to make the playoffs, but I think they'll be at times a hard out for teams in that division just because of the structure in the division. And, division games are tough as it is. If you look at the Raiders' talent, they didn't lose it. They kept that best defensive player and added talent around him. So they obviously, to me, Scott, look, you only can go when you're at the bottom, you only can go up. So I like the move for Sean Payton. My question for Sean Payton is, has he done enough? And has the Broncos done enough this offseason? We understand they went out and traded for Jalen Waddle. But has the Broncos done enough to move up to that upper echelon tier in the AFC? I get they were the AFC. I know they won the number 1 seed last year. But like you said, a lot of that was smoke and mirrors. A lot of that they won games, 1-score games. I watched them play last year at Jacksonville. When Jacksonville came in there and destroyed them, I wasn't impressed. the Chargers early in the season beat the Broncos. I wasn't impressed. So for me, I still have questions about the Broncos, mainly Bo Nix. I understand what the defense can be, but I do have my questions about Bo Nix. And I do have my questions about what has the Broncos done this offseason to really improve their team and see if they take that next step to get from the conference championship to the Super Bowl.
I think teams, when teams stay pat, I say this all the time, when you stay pat and you stay the same, you either get better or you get worse. So staying the same to me is the same as getting worse because you're bringing back basically the exact same team. So I echo what your questions about. What has Denver done this offseason to really, say, hey, this team is ready to make a run and go back to for the AFC Championship game, maybe the Super Bowl, and this past season wasn't a fluke. Now, it's we credit the Broncos. Winning, a lot of teams can't win close games. I take that as a skill. I mean, that's good coaching. That's good decision-making down the stretch. So to win close games, I think is really important. Can you rely on that? Absolutely not. But you still get credit for doing what it takes to win late in the games. There's a lot of teams that can't do that.
So, yeah, again, it's a trait. It's a skill to win close games, and the Broncos deserve credit for that. But, again, that's last season. Every team at this season, even the defending Super Bowl champs, you have the Seahawks. You start the season at 0-0. You feel me? So, at the end of the day, you start from ground zero to work your way up to the top. You start from the ground floor to work your way up to the top of the building. And I just haven't seen the improvements from the Broncos this offseason. So, I think they can be a playoff team. We'll see during our NFL playoff prediction show. Me, you, and Tim have them in the playoffs. Definitely looking forward to that. JG, our last topic for sports news. The Chicago Bulls. They have a new head coach. And as you guys see on the screen, his name is Tiago Splitter. 41-year-old went 42-39 as the interim head coach for the Portland Trail Blazers. Tiago Splitter, It was the assistant coach, Chauncey Billups, the FBI gambling investigation. Chauncey Billups coached one game. They lost that game. Tiago Splitter coached the other 81 games. So, or other 81 in some games, because obviously got to count the NBA Cup games. So, what are your thoughts on Tiago Splitter becoming the new Chicago Bulls head coach?
For me, and honestly, man, if Chauncey Billups doesn't come back to coach, I think Portland made a mistake. I think Portland made a big mistake letting Tiago Splitter go. I think Chicago made a fantastic move by hiring this guy. I've seen enough, from Tiago Splitter and this Portland team, that this guy knows what he's doing. He as a player, he was one of the smartest bigs that you'll watch. Was he the flashiest? Was he the most eye-popping big? No, because he played with obviously the great legendary Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, and Ronald Ginobili. You're not getting a ton of shots with that team. But Tiago Splitter was a guy that I would get shown film in college, learning in different offense, and I'm sure he was shown in many different places. He understood his positioning on the floor. He understood how to play. Move with a great big like Tim Duncan. Dunker position, move with the ball. Just how to be a very serviceable big on both ends of the floor. He understood the game. He understood how to run offense. He understood, basically he was groomed to coach. If you're playing under Greg Popovich, you know the game. You get groomed in the right way on how to coach this game. And I saw enough from Portland, with how they, in my opinion, overachieved. Because I didn't have Portland being a play-in team at all this season, especially when Chauncey Billups ended up in this situation. But Tiago Splitter has proven he can coach. I think Chicago should be a better team. Again, they have other holes they have to fill. They have to figure out their roster going forward here in this offseason. But I think this is a great step in the right direction for that franchise. A franchise that is honestly just trying to get back to being relevant. It's funny. I was just watching The Last Dance, this past week, and I was like, man, where's Chicago been for the longest time? Especially after the Derrick Rose era. I think Chicago fans are starving for their Bulls to come back into playoff contention. And I think this is the right direction with Tiago Splitter.
Absolutely. I love the move. I love the hire for Chicago to get Tiago Splitter. Like you said, 1,000%. If Chauncey Billups is not coming back to Portland, I don't know what the hell the Blazers are doing. I call them the jail Blazers because they act like it's hard jail time to dig their hands in their pockets and spend some money. Like, come on now. Like, you have a coach that guided you to the play-in and then playoffs. Well, first of all, that roster, no Damian Lillard. Second of all, Denny Auger stepped up to be the best player. You got young players ascending. Scoot Henderson. They got the defender. I forgot his name.
Matisse Thybulle.
Matisse Thybulle is another one. Calamari. Kamara. Thank you. So you got guys improving. You see that under the Billups/Splitter leader head. Why not just make Tiago Splitter the head coach in Portland? As the old expression goes, one man trash is another man's treasure. The Chicago Bulls definitely picked that trash up, and that's going to turn that into treasure. The question I have about the Bulls is their front office. A lot of organizations get in their own way. For example, the Washington Wizards, they could hire Phil Jackson. The GM structure and the people selecting the talent gets in the way of the head coach. That's what's going on in Chicago. I've been on numerous shows, whether it's Highly Opinionated, Nothing But Net, or Unapologetic Sports, and I've talked about the Chicago Bulls not doing the right things, not getting value on assets. For example, they had DeMar DeRozan. They didn't get a first for him. They had Zach LaVine. They didn't get a first for him. They had Nikola Vucevic. Didn't get a first for him. So they had Alex Caruso. They traded for Josh Giddey. So you get what I'm saying? Josh Giddey's a good player, but still, like, you should get more value than what you got in that return. So it's all about the general manager. The new general manager that they hired, hopefully he can do his job correctly, and that'll make Tiago Splitter's job a lot. That'll make Tiago Splitter's job easy, and I just have to coach.
I agree.
Do you think, as far as Chicago has a top 5 pick? Chicago has the 4th pick in the draft. Who do you think Chicago should be looking at in that draft spot?
I would say Caleb Wilson, or maybe even Darius Acuff Jr. I would consider that. They need a star, first of all. I know they have a lot of they have some nice pieces there that you can build around. You know, Jalen Smith is there. Shout out Terps. Kobe White got traded, but also, you know, Josh Giddey, as you mentioned. But I just feel like they're missing something just along the wings. You know, and I think Caleb Wilson is a player that can really fill that position, but also bring some star power back to Chicago. Something that they have just not really had since Derrick Rose, in my opinion.
Absolutely. If Caleb Wilson is on the board at 4 for Chicago, they should just run the card up. I can write the name for him. They should just run the card up and go and send that on to Adam Silver. He can read the name off. Caleb Wilson to be a Chicago Bull. We definitely agree on that. Before we end this first segment, sad news in the sports world. Former Oklahoma State coach Bob Simmons passed away at 77 years old. He won the Big 12 Coach of the Year in 1997, and he was Oklahoma State's first head football black coach of the Cowboys history. So we send our condolences to the Simmons family and the Oklahoma State Cowboy family. We also send our condolences and wishes to Aldon Smith, former defensive end in the NFL. He died at the age of 36. He played 10 seasons in the NFL. He earned an All-Pro in 2012. JG, quickly, your thoughts on Aldon Smith?
Just such a talented guy. Talented player. If you watched him, you just saw Hall of Fame potential in the beginning with how he was playing. And I don't want to be negative here, but my mind went to just all the stuff that was going on with him off the field, to the point where I got worried. You know, I got worried about him as a person. You know, forget football for a second, just as a person. All the off-field stuff that was piling up on and on. You know, even to the point where he gave it one last shot to, I think it was with the Seattle Seahawks in 2021, and then another incident happens off the field. So it was when you see this stuff happen time and time again, it's you start to worry about the person off the field, what else is going on there. We don't know the cause of death right now, but it bothered me to see that because I knew about his history and just you wondered about his overall well-being. He said he spent his last day, just delivering pieces to the homeless, for a foundation or a charity. So clearly the guy had a good heart. He had his heart in the right place, but I just wonder what else could have been going on just off the field we may not have known about. So lost an incredible talent, very, very caring person, and my thoughts are with his family.
Yeah, I think obviously my loss, obviously family prayers and condolences to Alden Smith and his family. I don't think people know how good Alden Smith really was. His rookie year, he had 14 sacks. His second year, he had 19 and a half sacks. Like his third year, he had 8.5 sacks. Fourth year, 2 sacks. Fifth year, he went to Oakland. He had 3.5 sacks. So I think his first 3 years, I think he was on the, like you said, I don't want to say the straight and narrow because I don't know his life story. But I'm suspecting the first 3 years he stayed away from extracurricular activity. And I think maybe around that time, because you can see the production just drop. He missed the in 2011 he had 14 sacks. 2012 he had 19 and a half. 2013 he had 8.5. 2014 he had 2. 2015 he had 3.5. The next time he played in the NFL, it was 2020. He missed 2016, he missed 2017, missed 2018, missed 2019. He missed 4 seasons. He came back in 2020, played for the Cowboys. He had 5 sacks when he played with the Cowboys. 5. So Alden Smith was a generational type player if he stayed on the path that he was going on. Like we always say, like mental, I know obviously drugs and stuff like that, people don't look at it, but that's a mental illness. So if you have a mental illness, get help. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to hopefully you can confide in someone. Hopefully you can trust someone that that can point you in the right direction and you get the help that you deserve. Because if Alden Smith stayed on the path that he was started his career on, he's a Hall of Fame player, no doubt. One of the best defensive ends, if not ever, maybe not of ever, but definitely of his generation. So rest in peace to Alden Smith. And rest in peace to Bob Simmons as well. Ladies and gentlemen, this episode of Highly Opinionated is sponsored by Wolves of War. In some of the episodes, you can see my co-host and Ross wearing a brand called Wolves of War. Wolves of War is our first sponsor, ladies and gentlemen, and we are so thankful to have those guys sponsoring Highly Opinionated. Thank you very much. The actual meaning of Wolves of War is that it represents having a strong path behind you through the battles of life. With the right people behind you, you can get through anything. You guys see the link for Wolves of War? Make sure you guys click on the link. Shop, great apparels, t-shirts, sweatsuits, whatever you want, they have. Once again, Wolves of War. Make sure you guys go shop. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Highly Opinionated. It's that time, the best segment in sports. This week's edition of Let's Talk About It. Congratulations are in order to the New York Knicks. New York Knicks win their first championship since 1973. It's a long time, John. Very, very long time. We'll get to that in a second. This is how it sounded from Mike Breen, Richard Jefferson, Tim Legler on ABC.
Fox to Wemby. Wemby tries a 3, puts it up, off the mark. Anunoby the rebound. It's over. It's over. Knicks fans, this is not a dream. Your long, long wait has ended. Go ahead and cry. After 53 years, the Knicks are finally NBA champions once again.
"53 years, and it was apropos. Mike Breen is the Knicks play-by-play analyst for MSG Network. It was apropos that he was on the call when the Knicks win the championship. Let me be the first to say I was wrong. I picked the Spurs to win the championship in 6 games. The Knicks, they were the better team. I wouldn't even say they were the better team. They were the more poised team. They realized that no lead was insurmountable. Almost jumped through the damn sky when the Spurs blew that 29-point lead in Game 4. The Spurs had several opportunities. I'm going to give the Knicks their credit in a second. Let me start off with the Spurs point. The Spurs, in every game, they were up double figures. So what that shows me is that the Spurs had the energy to come out and start fast. But inexperience is not knowing how to finish. The Spurs don't have the experience of knowing how to finish. From Mitch Johnson, who's a first-time head coach, to De'Aaron Fox. This is his first actual playoff run. I know people looking at it, deep playoff run. I know people looking at what he did with Sacramento. They lost in the first round of 7-game series. That's not a long. You just played 7 games. That's not a long playoff run. Victor Wembanyama, first playoff series. The first playoff runs. Dylan Harper, Stephon Castle, etc. The Spurs will be fine. The Spurs will come back. I think they'll make the right adjustments to be back in championship contention next season. But this is all about the New York Knicks. Congratulations to Jalen Brunson, unanimous Finals MVP. Jalen Brunson stepped up. OG Anunoby stepped up. Mikal Bridges stepped up. I guess Mikal Bridges, he said this at the post-game press conference. F those picks. So I guess the 5 first-round picks that the Knicks traded for him from Brooklyn, I guess it was worth it after all. Mitchell Robinson played well. Karl-Anthony Towns played well. Landry Shamet played well. Landry Shamet signed at the end of the season, at the start. Well, I shouldn't say the end of the season. During the late of the offseason, he made the team because Avery Bradley, not Avery Bradley, it was a guy that retired. I forgot the guy that retired. Might have been Avery Bradley. Guys were fighting for a roster spot. He Malcolm Brogdon. Malcolm Brogdon and Landry Shamet signed with the Knicks at the same time. Malcolm Brogdon ended up retiring. Landry Shamet got that spot. Landry Shamet got that spot. He played well. Mike Brown deserves a ton of credit. Mike Brown was made fun of as a quote-unquote defensive coordinator when he was a Cavaliers head coach. He took his lumps. He went to Steve Kerr, being assistant coach in Golden State. He opened up the offense. We always talked about Karl-Anthony Towns at the center of the hub. Learned how to play that role, get Jalen Brunson out off the ball all the time. And we saw what the New York Knicks have done. So the New York Knicks win the championship. They deserve it. And the biggest Knicks fan I don't know personally, but the biggest Knicks fan that we all know is Spike Lee. And Spike Lee had a phone call to make. It was 53 years in the making.
Mike, what's up? It's Mars Blackman. I know it's a long time. We haven't talked in a minute. The New York Knicks are world champions. Call me back. Orange blue skies. What's up, Mike?
Orange and blue skies. What's up, Mike? Congratulations to the New York Knicks. 53 years. And just want to say this, Jay, before I give it to you. There's no city that knows how to turn up and celebrate better than the city of New York. I'm sure they'll be out celebrating this Thursday for that basketball parade. I'm sure it will be epic. I can't wait to get clips. I'm sure we'll show some clips next week on the show. In all seriousness, congratulations to the Knicks and their fan base. Congratulations to Jalen Brunson. I had questions about him being a superstar. I still have my questions. However, he scored 45. He scored 45 points. Bro, I'm gonna let you go, then I'll get to my point about him being a superstar. My only question about him being a superstar. However, he scored 45 points. His team scored. The Knicks scored. They scored 90 in the game. They scored 94. He scored 45 points. So I do have I put it like this. The one question I have is: so if you win the championship, does that make you a superstar?
I think the way that Jalen Brunson played in this full season made him a superstar.
Okay. Well, listen. Let me say correct. Let me say. Then, if that's what you said, I said this over the weekend. I'll say it now. Jalen Brunson's a superstar because he led his team to the championship. He's done it. He's not just a one-year wonder. We saw him with flashes of this in Dallas. Remember that series when Luka got hurt against you and he came in and stepped up. And then we saw him last year. He took his team to the Eastern Conference Finals, and this year he won the championship. So, by the letter of the law, he's a superstar. I guess we're going to have to do a superstar rank before we how many superstars there are in the NBA before we go on vacation. But take nothing away from Jalen Brunson. Superstar performance. He's the Finals MVP. Brother scored 45. Again, team scored 94. Congratulations to the Knicks. Congratulations to Jalen Brunson, City of New York.
I got a lot here. And I've said this on Club JG. I'll say it on Club JG tonight, about a little bit more about the San Antonio Spurs side of things. But first of all, just the New York Knicks. A dominant playoff run. Finishing 16-3 record in these playoffs and route to a championship. 14.9 point differential, outscoring their opponents by that average. That ends up being the best in NBA history, passing the 1971 Milwaukee Bucks. A 13-game winning streak in these playoffs. And then 9 straight road wins. Also, the longest in NBA playoff history. Also, the comeback kings. They were 6-2 in playoff games where they trailed by double digits. And they were clutch late in the game on offense. They scored a total of 345 points on shots taken in the final 6 seconds of the shot clock, while holding their opponents just 166 points on those same possessions. You put that together, that's a team that knows how to win late. They never panic. They continue to play their game, and they're good late in games. That's how you win a championship. Now, to Jalen Brunson, there's no doubt in my mind that he is a superstar in this league because he's been consistent Now, has he had the best shooting nights every night? No. Is he the best defender on the team? No. He's not a great defender. But he's a guy where it's like, look, give me the ball, get the hell out the way, let me handle this. That's to me, that's the guy that you can trust with the ball. That's in my eyes, my estimation, a superstar. That's a guy where it's like, hey, I don't care what the play is. Give this man the ball, get the hell out the way, and let him work. That's what he did. He's at 6'1", not a guy that's going to dunk on you, not a guy that's going to blow you away with his athletic ability. This man sized up Victor Wembanyama at 7'6" on multiple occasions and said, "Come get this work." Bucket. Man reaches up high. He's 9 feet tall. Brunson said, "Come get this work," on numerous occasions. 6'1" guy. That's all I need to know. So this guy, he is an inspiration to so many players who, because look, you don't have to be LeBron James. You don't have to be AJ DeBonsa. You don't have to be Victor Wembanyama to be an NBA player or be a decent NBA player or professional. If you put the work in, I mean, really put the work in day after day after day, time and time again, working your craft, working your skill set, you can be Jalen Brunson. You can be Steph Curry with the shooting ability if you work on your game time and time again. Every player is not going to have this superhuman athleticism that LeBron James has, or they won't be. Everyone's not going to be 7 feet tall like Kevin Durant with guard skills and can shoot anywhere on the floor. It's not going to be every player, but you can be a Jalen Brunson if you work on your game hard enough. So I feel like Jalen Brunson has ascended to, I believe, superstar. I mean, he is a New York City legend forever. In my opinion, especially with the Knicks. Because think about it. Yankees have come up short. Giants haven't done anything since Eli Manning years. The Jets are the Jets. And then the Mets are the Mets. Jalen Brunson just brought a championship to the New York Knicks, bro. Like, we're living in a time where the Knicks are NBA champions. Hasn't been said since, like you said, 1973, 53 years. Guy, in my opinion, is a legend. He's – and Mike Brown, and I'm a guy, look, when I'm wrong, I will put myself out there and tell you I'm wrong. I was not happy when they let go of Tom Thibodeau last year. I understand, Tom Thibodeau with practice and all that, running guys into the ground and all that. I got you. But you were 2 wins away from getting to the NBA Finals, so why would you fire the guy that got you to that point? You brought in the right guy, Mike Brown. You unlocked this offense. You unlocked Karl-Anthony Towns. You essentially brought that Golden State type of offense, allowing their center to be the playmaker. And there's more ball movement. There's guys that are able to rest on offense in a way so they're more fresh going into the fourth quarter. Mike Brown didn't run his guys into the ground. He was that next step, a la, and I hate to even put this comparison up, but Mark Jackson and Steve Kerr. Mark Jackson got them there in a way. Steve Kerr got them over the top. That's what Mike Brown did with Tom Thibodeau and this New York Knicks team. San Antonio, you and I disagree on the youth thing. We talked about this ad nauseum at this point. I don't give them a pass for being young and youthful and all that and inexperienced, because I feel like you gain experience through playing basketball, through playing playoff basketball in hostile environments and learning what it is about. Now, the Spurs led by double digits in all 4 of their losses late in games, including a 29-point lead in Game 4. In my opinion, that's inexcusable. You want to talk about youth, you want to talk about inexperience with coaching, sure. I just find it to be just, not lack of focus and lack of late game execution, understanding time and score. And I'm looking at De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox, I think, failed the Spurs in these finals. I understand he had an ankle injury, not disregarding that. But if you're out there playing in the finals, in our eyes, you're healthy. If you're not healthy enough to play, go sit down. No one's going to fault you for it. If you can't play, you can't play. But if you're out there, you're out there. So at times he looked like a liability. Not a great three-point shooter. Never was a good three-point shooter. And we saw it in these finals. Just poorly timed turnovers. And just you didn't see that vet leadership that De'Aaron Fox has been in the league for almost 10 years. He gets it. So we expected more. I for sure expected a lot more from De'Aaron Fox from a leadership perspective and being that steady force on especially on the offensive end for the Spurs. I didn't get that from De'Aaron Fox. So I feel like as much as we want to blame Wembanyama, and look, he's the best player on the team. He gets all the praise. He get a lot of the blame. I find myself looking at De'Aaron Fox a lot more and wondering, where were you? If De'Aaron Fox was not even the 25-point scorer he was in Sacramento, but just a fraction of that, I think San Antonio walks away as champions instead of the New York Knicks.
Yeah. So let me address the Aaron Fox first. Well, let me address your point about us going back and forth. We went back and forth nauseum about it on this show. Nothing but that. Text messages, text message change over the phones, all that. For me, I think the lack of experience showed in key moments. Listen, I've been watching the Spurs all season long. Everyone knows that. Everyone that knows me personally knows that. The Spurs had moments against Portland that they showed immaturity. The difference is they were talented enough to get away with it. They had moments against Minnesota where they showed they showed their age. They showed lack of experience. They were talented enough to get away with it. In the Oklahoma City series, they showed game 3 they lost at home. An inexperienced team not going to do that. You split 1-1. An experienced team is going to come home and grab the horn by the neck, grab the horn by the bull, right? You feel me? They showed their inexperience, but they were talented enough to get away with it. And Oklahoma City had injuries. John, talent, you only can get by talent so much. You have to put in the work. You have to put in the research. You have to put in the time. You have to know how to do it. And then going in your first playoff run, you're not knowing how to do it. You said that you gain experience each round in the playoffs. Yes, gain experience of winning their first round and advancing to the second round. Gain experience of winning the second round and advancing to the conference finals. Yes, you gain experience of winning the conference finals and going to the finals. There's nothing that can compare that. There's nothing that can prepare you for the NBA finals. The Spurs have nobody on their roster that have experience. And the players that they did have on the roster that have experience, they weren't playing. Kelly Olynyk was not playing. Harrison Barnes was not playing. The other guy, Luke Kornet, literally was not playing. I mean, he played, but he didn't play. So to me, I say this every episode. At the biggest moments, your biggest flaw showed. The Spurs couldn't hold the lead because they were inexperienced. They didn't know how to hold the lead. They were inexperienced in that realm in that moment. That's my point. Yes, you can play basketball, but I hate when people say you had the expression last week on Nothing But Net about, yeah, man, if you play basketball, people say that you're at the end of the season, if you're not a freshman no more because you played in a certain amount of games. To me, that's the dumbest statement ever. Sir, I'm gonna use the NBA for an analogy. So Dylan Harper, right? I know he played great. Dylan Harper played great. So Dylan Harper playing a game in December against the Wizards, and then playing a game in April against the Wizards. Now that makes him not a rookie? No, you're not playing hard against the Wizards. You're not playing the same way you playing against Charlotte, against the Thunder. You're just not. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and make that assumption because I know better. My point is that experience gets you through these times. The Spurs had lack of experience and it showed. Now, as far as Victor Wembanyama, because I got a comment on him. Listen, he didn't play big in big moments. That's my guy. I think Victor Wembanyama can be the greatest basketball player we've ever seen. I'm not jumping off that horse one iota. I still believe in Victor Wembanyama. The man made the NBA Finals in his 3rd year in the NBA. The sky's the limit. Now, what the Spurs can't fall in love with, is that the Spurs have to realize they do not pick up next season in the NBA Finals. They start with everyone else at the bottom and have to build their way up. The Spurs will make adjustments. The Spurs will make this roster better, and I think the Spurs will be fine. As long as Victor Wembanyama, which I think he'll improve on some things. He'll get stronger. He'll have to get up. If he's going to be a face-up player, he has to get up a go-to move. I think he should face up and post up. Because if he posts up, you just turn around and put the ball in the basket. I think he'll do that. He doesn't have to be Shaq posting up, but every possession, he doesn't have to start on the perimeter. He can start at the free throw line or duck in. You feel me? What you used to do. You used to start at the free throw line, or when you wanted the ball, you would duck into the post, get the ball, and then go up. He can do the same thing. You get what I'm saying? So he can definitely do that. The Spurs team will get better. Again, the Victor Wembanyama detractors are out there. I've seen guys on TV. I know guys that have been on this show, guests have been on this show. I know people that are on this show that the detractors are out. I'm not flinching one iota. I still think Victor Wembanyama can be the greatest basketball player ever. He'll put the work in this offseason. The Spurs will be back. They will be back. Not worried about it at all. As far as De'Aaron Fox, his first big playoff moment, I'm not surprised that he floundered. I'm not surprised that he struggled. Go look at that injury that he had against Minnesota in the second round. I feel like that hindered him to an extent. Now, I needed him to be a veteran presence. He wasn't. That's fine. Like, Every series, you're not going to be your best. I'm not going to put the series on him. I put the series on the team. Mitch Johnson, Victor Wembanyama, Stephon Castle played bad in moments. Only the best player you can make a case for the Spurs was Dylan Harper. You can make that case. He's the one who didn't make. He's the one who had the fewest mistakes. He had a mistake in Game 4, that stupid ass half court pass sparked that run, that 29-point lead. But he's the one who had the fewest mistakes. So for me, the Spurs are young. They have to realize that they have to get back in the lab. El Jefe, shout out to Greg Popovich, Brian Wright, the general manager. The Spurs will do that. But this is not the day about the Spurs. This is about the New York Knicks. They deserve it. They won a championship. It's been 53 years, my brother. And again, man, the city's on fire, and they deserve it, bro.
How many Knicks had finals experience on that team?
How many Knicks had finals experience? OG Anunoby won. Let me look at their roster. I'm looking at it now. OG Anunoby played in the finals. I think that's it.
What's your roster? That's one guy.
Yeah.
So I mean,
yeah, but the Knicks are the more experienced team.
Yeah,
like they're
we're talking about the NBA Finals here, like you said, right? And you said, hey, talent can only get you but so far in the NBA Finals. Can we agree that we thought the Spurs were probably the more talented team than the New York Knicks?
Yes.
I mean, I struggle with that. I mean, it's just I just feel like you learn just through basketball, man. But like, hey, I'm not saying that you're wrong about your points. Like your points make total sense. But this is I look at it through a different lens, bro. Like just playing basketball, you get better at basketball by playing basketball. You gain experience in high leverage moments by being in high leverage moments. And it's like, hey, okay, this is what I did wrong. Let's watch film and get better from it. The thing that was weird about the Spurs is that they did not get better learning from their mistakes of blowing double-digit leads. That to me was the most alarming thing here. And I blame coaching more so than anything because now Mitch Johnson, young coach, that's another guy who doesn't have any NBA Finals experience. So I hear you on that. But my guy, you have film there for a reason. You just did it. What can we do to not do it again? And then you did it again and again and again. So this is very puzzling. And again, not trying to take away from the Knicks. They went ahead and took it. They were the more poised team. They were the more disciplined team. They were the better coach team. And they took it from the Spurs. But this is one of those things where the Spurs are going to look back and just watching film, they're going to kick themselves for a long time with a lot of things. Because I thought this Spurs team was was an overall better team than the Knicks. And I thought they should have walked away with this championship. I think minimum, in 6 games. But hey, New York was just better, and the better team won, and that's why New York is burning down as we speak. Hopefully there's something left after the next week or so.
Well, it's gonna be something left. We got the championship parade on Thursday. It's gonna be something left, for sure. No, you're right. The Spurs got the lead, but the Knicks walked them down. The true heart of a champion is stand in the grind, stand in the fight, find a way through thick and thin, and the Knicks deserve that. I think this tough loss will motivate the hell out the Spurs. That's why, again, I'm not giving up on Victor Wembanyama. I do not think he is a finished product. He's not even close to being a finished product.
He's barely scratched the surface. If anyone thinks he's close to being a finished product, you're out of your mind.
Listen, it's been a tough 48 to 72 hours for your boy. Some of the messages that I've gotten, seen, and had to talk to people. But again, I love this show. It's highly opinionated. You get to come on and speak your feelings. But we're not even close into the Victor Wembanyama that we will see. He will get better. The Spurs will get better. De'Aaron Fox, keep your head up. Castle, keep your head up. Dylan Harper, keep your head up. Congratulations to the New York Knicks. Congratulations to Jalen Brunson, Finals MVP. Congratulations to Mike Brown.
Greatest pick of all time.
He just had to run it. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break. You're watching Highly Opinionated. We'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, this episode of Highly Opinionated is brought to you by Edibly Airy. Enjoy the heightened experience of THC edibles in a whole new way. At Edibly Airy, our freeze-dry edibles available in 100 milligram, 200 milligram, 300 milligram, 400 milligram will give you the buzz you crave with a flavor you won't forget. Available in 3 different flavors: watermelon sunset, tropical fruit, and berry. To place orders, please visit the website at ediblyairy.com. While you're there at ediblyairy.com, use a promotion code. You guys see the promotion code on the screen. $ Highly Airy, $. Again, $ Highly Airy, $. for 20% off your first purchase. Follow us on IG at Edibly Airy for new product releases and monthly hookups. Must be 21 and over to purchase. Edibly Airy, the best freeze-dry edibles out. Go shop. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Highly Opinionated. As you can see, we have a special guest. Ladies and gentlemen, he is an NASM certified trainer. Ladies and gentlemen, a fellow hallman like the guys you see on the screen. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome the great Matt Healy, Highly Opinionated. Welcome to the show, Matt. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you guys?
We are blessed to be in your presence, man. Always great to be on the show with a fellow hallman like yourself. Congratulations to you on all your success, brother. I'm extremely happy for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Means the world to me. Obviously know the Calvert Hall days, the Calvert Hall roots. Just talk about who Matt Healy is, man.
Well, so I grew up in Baltimore City. I went to Calvert Hall for 3 years. Best 3 years. My senior year, I had the opportunity to go overseas and finish high school. So I finished high school in Nepal. I got to play soccer over there. I grew up playing soccer and rugby. In my 20s, I fell into, alcohol addiction and stuff like that. But at 24, I made the choice to get sober myself. So it's been December. Everything goes correct. December will be 9 years sober of everything. So that's been a driving force in my life. And then also when I got sober, I really honed in on fitness. And then I got certified about 2 years ago, and it's been full steam ahead since. Just helping people along the way. And that's honestly the best feeling in the world, is helping people, reach their goals they never thought they would hit. Everyone's got them. Everyone's got goals. And, some people, they never think they think this is too far out. This is crazy to think, but it's only crazy if you don't try.
Absolutely. Amen to that, Jay. Before you go, let me just say this. So Matt, follow you on Instagram. You have it, Fitness Money Trainer, Fitness Money Fit Money Fitness. Excuse me.
Yeah.
One of the things on your page is let's go to start chasing those goals.
Yep.
That commends that 100%.
Hit me with it, and I'll get right to it.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Jay. My bad.
And first off, man, look, let's highlight this. December will be 9 years sober. Congratulations to you, man. A lot of people don't identify when there's a problem. They just pretend oh, it's not really a problem. I'll be fine. Whatever. You were dead honest with yourself, and you loved yourself enough to go get help, and decided to say, look, I'm going to be sober, and this is going to be my life going forward. So I want to commend you on that. That is not a small thing. That is a huge, huge thing. And you are an example for a lot of people who may not have gotten there yet, or they're realizing and maybe they need someone to inspire them. So I want to commend you for that. And put a spot.
I appreciate that a lot.
Absolutely, man. So yeah, bro, can you tell us a little bit more about this Fit Money Fitness? What got it started? What inspired that? Obviously, hey, before I get to that, Grind Gyms. I have been to the Baltimore location a few times.
Yeah,
it's a damn good gym in Baltimore City. So you guys don't know about that, make sure you hit our Grind Gyms.
Yeah, we actually have 3 locations. So we got the one in the city.
Yep.
It's in the same building as, if you guys remember, old ESPN Zone, now Phillips. But it's really aesthetically pleasing. They got every machine you could think of, basketball court, turf. And then the one in White Marsh, that's kind of the flagship one. That one's brand new. You guys got to come check that one out. That one's it. I don't think there's anything really like it in the area. And then Harford County, which is my home gym, is 2 minutes away from my house. So that one's easy access. But White Marsh, Harco, 24-hour. And then the city one's open from 5 in the morning to 10 at night.
I mean, that's awesome, bro. So tell us a little more about Fit Money Fitness, if you don't mind.
Gotcha. So Fit Money Fitness, it just kind of culminated because my nickname kind of became in my friend group became Fat Money. and I thought we're gonna flip this into fit money because that's just roll with it. And sure enough, it's stuck. It's been good to me.
That's good, man. That's awesome.
You speak about grind gems, JG. I appreciate that's why the best. That's why he's the best co-host in the game, ladies and gentlemen. Set up that softball for me. You speak about grind gems. You speak about the 3 locations: White Marsh 24/7, Harco, and Harford County. Harford County, 24/7. And you have the one in Baltimore from 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. What was your thought process in actually opening up a gym? Why did you want to open up a gym, and what led you to decide to open up 3 locations?
So it's not my gym. It's 2 guys, Nick and Anthony. They're the owners. I'm one of the trainers there.
Okay.
But I started working there last August, and since I started working there, it's been nothing but blessings. Everyone there is, you hear a lot that people are like, oh, we're a family and stuff like that. Honestly, you walk in, you're family. Everyone leaves the ego at the door. You got people in there that can lift 600 pounds off the ground. You got people in there they're walking in. It's first day. They walk in. It doesn't matter. Everyone's off the same vibe. It's one of the most positive places I've ever encountered in my life. So I love it.
Now that family atmosphere, that's definitely important, especially in a workout setting. Like I feel like when people go to workout, it's more of competition and looking to see what someone else is doing instead of focusing on what you need to do. And that family atmosphere, that can bring the best out of you.
That's what I tell a lot of my clients because, you'll have some people come in. The gym can be a scary place. They're I think like people are like looking at me and stuff like that. Nah, everyone in there they're locked in. They're locked in exactly like the Ravens need to be this season.
That's a good segue, man. Because I was going to ask you a little something about that, man. We got to talk about our guys. Hey, we got a new head coach after 18 years. Hell, since my freshman year at Calvert Hall, John Harbaugh. I'm sorry, for the Baltimore Ravens. So, Jesse Minter is here. Declan Doyle is our new offensive coordinator. Nobody knows a damn thing about this guy. He's never called an offensive play in his young career. This is his first offensive coordinator position. He's the same age as our franchise quarterback, Lamar Jackson. Just overall, Matt, it's early, we're still in the offseason, but what is your feeling about the Ravens turning the page like this at this time and just the unknowns that we have? What can Ravens fans hold on to for optimism as you travel into kind of an unknown with Jesse Minter?
I feel like, and this is me being a biased Lamar fan, but I feel like as long as we have him, the options are endless. I think, having a young coach that's trying to prove something and stuff like that, I feel like, Harbaugh got kind of stale where you knew what was going to happen. And it was textbook, like this is exactly what's going to happen if we do this. And it's like they could read them like a book. So I think having, a young new head coach that's, trying to show his goods. I think it's going to be exciting. I think the new offensive coordinator, that's exciting. It's got, Lamar showing up to OTAs, which is he didn't really show up to the other ones, but I think it will be good. I think honestly, I'm really excited. I think the draft went well. I think Jacoby Lane is going to be a dog.
I like Jacoby Lane. I love Vega on the offensive lineman. He's the type of mean and nasty that you need on the Baltimore Ravens offensive line. But of course, the specter once again hangs above this team, Lamar Jackson's contract. Stop me if you've heard this before. There's speculation that, will Lamar be here long-term in Baltimore? Is he really bought in with the Ravens? How much longer will he be here? I remember back in 2022, the same question was being asked, and everyone was questioning his commitment. Last year, people were questioning Lamar Jackson's commitment. Is he faking an injury? Is he trying to hold out for a new contract, all this stuff? So here we are. But you just mentioned Lamar Jackson was in all the voluntary stuff before the OTAs, something he hasn't done. He goes to Florida and trains and everything like that. But he's coming up as a show of good faith to the new coaching staff and working with Declan Doyle. just where are you with this situation? Do you think is Lamar Jackson going to be here for the rest of his career in Baltimore, or is the specter real and could he possibly leave? Let's say the season doesn't go too well, and then that talk gets brought up again. Where are your thoughts with that?
His contract ends at the end of this year, right?
He's got 2 years left on his current deal.
Okay. So, I mean, I don't think he signs anything this year. I think we play this year. He honestly sees how it goes, and then we go from there. But I think with the changes that we've made, I think we've set him up where, he has better options and he will stay. We don't have our wide receiver 2 as a 32-year-old vet who has glass ankles.
The Ravens special. Let's find a guy who probably is a Hall of Famer. It probably was fun to watch back in his prime, but we're at the tail end of the year. We're talking about Des Bryant, Deshaun Jackson, DeAndre Hopkins, who I thought was pretty decent. Odell Beckham Jr., who I kind of wish we came brought back for 1 year, but at the same time, it's at the end. It's not the guy that we saw like in the Giants who was burning everyone. This is kind of what the Ravens have done. But so far, they're trying to change it up. They brought in some young wide receivers, unproven. We don't know much about them. Jacoby Lane, we hear about him at UMC. He's a bigger receiver. Finally got a taller guy, for Lamar to throw to. But
the kid from Indiana's big too, isn't he?
Indiana's big too.
Elijah Surratt, 6'2".
He went to St. Francis, right?
Yes.
I think he did. Yeah.
Yes, he did. He definitely.
That's pretty cool.
No, I agree with you guys. I'm looking at the draft. They drafted. I can never say the offensive lineman from Penn State. I need to learn his name. What's his name?
I think everyone just calls him Vega.
Vega.
That's the easiest. That's the easiest.
That's what I'm gonna call them too.
Polynesian names, they're tricky.
Vega, absolutely. So you draft Vega with the 14th pick, second round. I think it's still you get Zion Young out of Missouri. I think Zion Young can play. Then you draft.
I'm really excited. I really want to see Mike Green go off.
So you pair Zion Young with Mike Green. Let's see if Mike Green can take that step. We already know they went out and signed Trey Henderson from the Cincinnati Bengals, kept him in the AFC North. So that defense should be shored up. The defensive line should be shored up.
Hopefully we get Roquan back to tip-top shape. I feel like last year he's a little slow. I don't know what was happening, but hopefully he gets, back on that horse.
And then the secondary for me, I need Marlon to get back to playing the level that he was playing at before. But I think that'll help. I think the pass rush will help the corners and help the secondary. If you can get to the quarterback, that you don't have to stick to wide receivers for 30 seconds. And also, let's do this. JG, shout out the head coach, Jesse Mentor, the offensive coordinator, Declan Doole. Let me give a shout out to the defensive coordinator, Anthony Weaver, came from Miami. Now he's coming in as the Ravens defensive coordinator. He's familiar with Baltimore, have ties here in Baltimore. So I think the Ravens be for a first-time head coach, I think they're in a good position. You have the franchise quarterback in 8. You have a good defensive coordinator. The question is about the offensive coordinator, and we'll see that obviously progress over time. But the only thing I have, I don't like to get picks out early, but I think I'm going to pick the Bengals to win this division. No disrespect to the Ravens. I think the Ravens are a good team, but I just think the Bengals, eventually at some point in time, Joe Burrow going to be healthy. You know what I'm saying? Like, in their defense, maybe. I know how you Ravens fans feel about Joe Burrow. So
I've had some choice words.
The hell out of me. That's how I feel about him. He scares the living hell out of me.
He definitely does. I think the AFC North this year has the potential to be the best or the second best division in the AFC.
I feel like that's like every year.
No, that's every year. Could be
like I feel like the ball that like the rivalry games for like AFC North, it's just different than everybody else. I would say I would put the NFC West in there because you got San Fran and the Rams, you got Seattle. I would put that division up there. Yeah.
I would say the NFC East. I mean, all 4 of those. I know all 4 of those teams are not great, but listen, we know with the Giants, that media market in New York. We know what the Eagles represent. We know what the Commanders represent. And listen, I ain't trying to be like, listen, y'all know this. John, you know this. You host your own show. When you can talk about the Dallas Cowboys, oh, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. So you get the Cowboys get to face all three of those teams. You get the Eagles and the Commanders, Eagles and the Giants, Commanders. Like, so I think the AFC North, and this is another thing we sleeping on in the division, the Mike Tomlin effect. We sleeping on that because that'll either do something good for the Steelers, or the Steelers might fall off with they aging quarterback. So, and obviously the Browns. I think we all can admit the Browns will be in last place. They solidified that about 2.5 weeks ago when they traded away arguably the best player in the NFL. So
I did see a video. They had Dylan Gabriel got his jersey snatched by Verse. Said, hey, brother, that's mine. I know you've been here for like a year, but give me that.
Dylan.
Oh, Cleveland. I tell everyone all the time, man. Look, if you're having a bad day, just think about just think about Cleveland fans. You watch the Cavs, watch the Guardians, watch the Browns. It'll lift your spirits up. You're gonna be laughing. It's gonna lift your spirits up, no matter how bad a day you're having. So Cleveland, I thank you for always putting a smile on my face.
Yeah, Cleveland never disappoints this man, Matt. With the Cleveland sports fans, you got the Cavaliers, the Guardians, the Browns. Oh my God, any Cleveland teams I can think of, they never disappoint him. He always has room in his heart to make fun of those guys.
I've driven through Cleveland. I've driven through Ohio before, and it's just gray. It's just gray.
Sounds about right.
I think the best thing in Ohio, the Ohio State Buckeyes. I said that you can't make fun of those guys.
I thought you were gonna say Skyline Chili. I was gonna be like, shut up, dude.
I gotta give it to the Buckeyes. Skyline Chili might be the second best thing in Ohio.
Oh man.
So obviously, again, you guys both love the Ravens fans. Matt, I know every team has a thought process on how their team can get to the Super Bowl, but again, you're a true passionate Ravens fan. Now, I'm not going to ask you the same question. Do you think this is the year? My question to you is, what do you need to see at points throughout the season to tell you, man, this could be a super year. This could be 2012. This could be 2000 all over again.
The O-line to not look like Swiss cheese. I think that's honestly the man, because you got the most dynamic quarterback in the league, but he's running around to save his life because his O-line couldn't hold a fifth grader.
Lele.
Oh my God! I knew the name was coming. We knew it was coming.
He went to New York, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Yes.
He followed John Harbaugh.
Prayers for Jackson Dart, and you know what, Giants fans, you'll see.
Oh no! He's not starting. Daniel Falele is not starting on the Giants.
Well, John
Harbaugh's if Harbaugh has something to say about it, he is.
We already started to see like the Harbaugh effect go on. Malik Neighbors had an injury. Oh yeah, it's not serious. Yeah. No.
They just got done like the voluntary workouts, and 3 people like tore like their Achilles or ACL.
Yeah, 3 Achilles injuries.
Yeah, no. Daniel Falele is not starting. Andrew Thomas.
He's not welcome. He's not welcome here.
That man is not welcome in the city.
Andrew Thomas is the left tackle. John Runyon's the left guard. John Michael Smith Jr. is the center. Francis Mulagala, the right tackle. They moving him to right guard. And then Jermaine Illuminor is the right tackle. So Falele will be the second string. He'll be the second string right guard. So yeah, if Falele has to see the field for the Giants, yeah, it's over. And I will say this, Matt, you said it best. I made fun of Ravens fans when they got rid of John Harbaugh because I'm like, damn, man, like the man got y'all to a Super Bowl, like y'all just kicked this man out the door, threw his bags on the corner, all that. But I will say, you look at these injuries with the Giants, torn Achilles. I'm like, damn, like you just doing 4 days.
There was like an interview with Zay Flowers.
Doesn't that remind you of something, though, bro? In 2021, the same thing happened to the Ravens with their entire starting running back room had either a torn ACL or torn Achilles in the offseason. Lost 2 starting corners as well to the same injury. And then Zay Flowers literally came out and say, The practices we were doing were insane.
Yeah, I mean, I thought so. Just preface of my statement. When I first heard that comment, I'm like, why would he say that out loud? Well, now it makes perfect sense. Like, obviously, I didn't have this.
Honestly, Harbaugh's probably running them boys like they're in college, and a lot of them ain't seen a college field in 10 plus years. So, yeah, it's not the same. It's not the same.
Not at all. Not at all.
But Matt, to add to your point, definitely the offensive line has to improve. The pass rush is what I'm looking at the most with the Ravens, because you had zero pass rush last year. Zero.
Yeah.
Like, everyone had numerous time to throw the football. I don't care how good your secondary is, and the Ravens have a talented secondary. They really do. But if you cannot get to the quarterback, it doesn't matter how good your secondary is.
The fact that
if it's Joe Burrow back there, go ahead.
The fact that Kyle Hamilton was getting to the quarterback quicker than the linebackers and stuff like that, like what are we doing? Like, what are we doing?
Alarming. We had to move. You had to move Kyle Hamilton everywhere on the field just to generate pressure.
He had to play Swiss Army knife, and I feel like if we get people who can actually play their positions correctly, and we don't have to have him a Swiss Army knife, he's already the best in the league. I feel like it'll just appear.
So, yeah, I'm expecting a lot more from the defense for sure. And a sneaky good sign that I don't think gets talked about enough. Jalen Hawkins, from the Patriots, coming in at safety, I think he's going to be a very good surprise, like, for this Ravens defense, and I think they should improve. But to me, that's what I'm looking at the most: offensive line and then pass rush.
Yeah, for sure. And then we did get that rookie from Clemson, who's kind of like a carbon copy of Derrick Henry.
Adam Randall, running back.
Randall, I like Randall a lot. Like, I think he's going to be a good welcome to that room.
This is also a thing. I think, I'm not the coach, but I think so. Derrick Henry, we do this thing all the time. We just run him right up the middle, and he gets like 2 steps. But then we do this other one where we throw it out to the side. He gets like 5 steps, and there's not anyone in the league who can stop him after he gets like 4 steps in.
I agree.
Maybe we should do it more.
Yeah, maybe this dude Declan Doyle will see that, and we'll actually like have more of an evolved thought with offense as opposed to with the same old with John Harbaugh.
Well, we had Greg Roman, and then we had Monken, and I feel like with Todd, it was more, and I might be wrong with this statement, but he came from Georgia, right? Georgia, they're all 5 stars. They're all 5 stars on that team. So you have a whole bunch of 5 stars that are, competing at, the top level for what they're doing. And, he might have gotten away with that. But the league, you get into the league, they're all superstars. So you're going to get exposed. And I feel like that's what happened. I might be wrong, but I might be biased.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Jack. Go ahead.
I was saying, I think Tom Monken was decent as an offensive coordinator. I'll never forgive him for not, running the football in 2023 against Kansas City.
Being at that game,
the entire game, you're the Baltimore Ravens. You caught 4 running plays. What the hell are we doing?
Hurt, bro. It still hurts. I haven't heard the stadium. I haven't heard downtown that quiet ever.
If you had seen me walking back, I was beside myself. I literally walked home, and I live in Canton, bro. So like the stadium that's a walk.
I
needed every step of that walk to try to shake this off. I was like, bro, what did I just see? What happened? I don't get it. I'm still walking. I'm passing the harbor. What happened? I'm walking over to Fells Point. What happened? I finally get home. It's like, all right.
You blacked out and ended up at home.
Settling in first. I was going through the stages.
Damn. Woo. No, that's I never knew that story. That's crazy. That's
one I've been told a lot. When the night the Ravens lost, you guys know, if you're from Baltimore, you know where Canton is. You know where Raven Stadium is. That ain't around the corner.
That's a nice like 6-7 mile walk.
Yeah, that's about like a half hour type walk.
I went for a run the other day on like what is it, like the water edge, and it was like from grind to like Canton. It was like 5 miles. So you were in the trenches, brother.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. As far as you guys make great points about the Ravens, I want to mention another name that they signed, a free agent. I know he's an OG, 39 years old. I really think the veteran presence of Calais Campbell will help this team.
He's 40. He's 40. He's 40.
40. 40 now. 40. Okay. No, he'll be 40 when the season starts. He's 39 right now.
Okay.
He'll be 40 when they are, because his birthday is September the 1st, so he'll be 40.
Gotcha.
Oh, September, baby, just September, like me.
Baby, yeah. So he 39 right now, but JG, you're right. When the season starts, he'll be 40. I just think his veteran presence, his veteran leadership, I think that'll help the defense. He can stay on people and get on people because everyone's going to respect him. He's a very good to great player. I don't even know. He might be considered for the Hall of Fame at some point in time. So
I think he would be.
So I'm looking at that. So I think the Ravens. All season was good. They drafted well. They signed some good free agents. JG, you mentioned Hawkins. Obviously, they signed Campbell. To me, let's see what Elijah Surratt can do at wide receiver. Let's see what Jacoby Lane can do. Let's see if the Ravens can replace the second tight end. They lost their second and third string tight end to free agency. Charlie Kohler, Isaiah Likely. One went to the Baltimore Ravens West. The LA Chargers, and one went to the Baltimore Ravens East. I meant the New York Giants. So you feel me? So that's this. By the way, this is how good the Baltimore Ravens is. The Ravens are set up in Baltimore, yet they have an office in Los Angeles, and yet they have office in New York. So the Ravens are really, really good.
The one that really hurt me was Pat Ricard.
Project Pat.
That tore some heartstrings out.
He went to Baltimore Ravens East, right?
Yes.
Okay. Ravens East. Okay. Ravens East. Okay. That's what
the thing with that is he's gonna be blocking for CT Scatterboo.
CT Scatterboo is crazy. But that's gonna be a dart card and Scatterboo. That's an I formation right there.
Man. I will say this about the Giants. Why we speak on the Giants. I thought the Giants, before the injuries, I thought the Giants could double their win total. They still can double their win total. But man, listen, John, you guys know this. You guys play sports. If you go into a season limping into the season, your ass is going to limp out of the season. And the are limping into the season. We talked about the injuries. We made fun of the Harbaugh training camp schedule. But sir, like, you really need to adjust and think about what you're doing, because this is not only just happening in New York. It's happening in Baltimore. So it's coming in two places. The common denominator, sir, is you. It ain't the people in Baltimore aren't in New York. They're in New York because of you. Like, you have to find a way to, work on how you train, work on how your scheduling, etc. However, again, get back to the Giants. My point is that I really thought they were going to be on the upswing this year, but these injuries, man, and Malik Neighbors is not healthy, and they haven't done anything to address the numbers.
Did you see him at that softball game?
He could barely move.
Yeah.
Barely move. He shouldn't have been playing in that. And then listen, I'm not trying to be funny, but Malik Neighbors is the best receiver. He's hurt. So you know what the Giants did? Hey, man, let's go out and sign two old guys, Odell Beckham and Juju Smith-Schuster. Yeah, that's going to solve the problem. Like,
he said, we're getting the gang back together.
And you know what's alarming? OBJ actually looks like the best receiver in OTAs right now. If you've been seeing some videos, I haven't
seen any videos.
I've seen a couple of videos. Like, he actually looks like he's the only one that, like, with footwork wise, he looks like the best receiver right now, and that's not good.
Nah. Because his ACL is made of glass.
And Juju just flat out looks like he should retire now. Like, he looks like he has no speed left.
The TikTok dances are going to be fire, though.
Yeah, they are. They've always been fire. I'm going to say this.
Good.
My bad. Antonio Brown did not get a lot of things right later on in his career. Oh, he got Juju Smith-Schuster right. He told y'all what Juju Smith-Schuster was. That's a TikTok superstar. The Steelers had the audacity, the unmitigated goal to get a team MVP to Juju over AB. You damn right, man. Listen, John, if I come in here and I see somebody talking about another show other highly opinionated, I'm flipping tables. Fuck out of here. Like, hell no. No. You gonna get that. They really gave the team MVP award to Juju. And Antonio Brown was on the team. Man, please. They out their mind.
That probably triggered a CTE.
Antonio got some other shit with him. It ain't just CTE. I don't know.
No. That moment when the Steelers gave Juju the MVP over AB, AB went to AB mode. Yeah. AB went to AB mode. Like, yeah, it was over at that point. Like, come on, man. But not to be funny, I'm gonna use a line out of a Sexy Red song. He ain't lying. He ain't lying. AB ain't lying because he was always better than Juju Smith-Schuster. And again, he told us what Juju Smith-Schuster is. That's a TikTok superstar masquerading as a wide receiver. I know he won a Super Bowl in Kansas City. I get that. But Juju was never going to be a number one. Never. And he can't be a number two. He can be in a rotation, a complement in a rotation. But never was a one and never was no two.
You think Bateman's going to be all right?
I like Bateman. JG?
No comment.
He's not the biggest Rashad Bateman fan. He needs to see more. I like Bateman. I think Bateman can play.
I'm with John on this one. I think, if he doesn't do spectacular things coasting by, then you got to hit the road, Jack.
He should have been traded, I think, 2 years ago.
I don't think that's wrong. I don't think that's crazy.
Well, listen, the Ravens drafted 2 receivers in this draft class. He's gonna have to prove himself, or his days on the Ravens roster could definitely be numbered. Matt, before we get your back,
the running back was he was a wide receiver, and then he turned to running back.
Yeah, Randall,
yep. Yeah, absolutely.
So that might be an option too.
Matt, before we get you up out of here, buddy, give you a chance to talk about a sport that's near and dear to your heart. You talked to us. You said that you play soccer and rugby. Currently, right now, the 2026 World Cup is underway. Your thoughts on the World Cup, man? The floor is yours, buddy.
Oh man, it's my favorite. It's my favorite sporting event ever. It brings a lot of people together. I think I'm a huge Brazil fan. I've always been a Brazil fan since I was a kid. Ronaldinho is my favorite player ever, and they played Morocco the other day. They could have played better, but Morocco is a solid team. The U.S. surprised me a lot. Historically, the U.S. isn't very good. The thing with U.S. soccer is most of the best athletes in the U.S. don't play soccer, whereas in other countries they do. So if I think of more of the better athletes and stuff like that played soccer, we'd be better off. But it's also a pay-to-play system, which I have a whole other shtick about. But I think the game the other day the U.S. played, that was probably the best game they've played in 15 years. They were really clicking. They were looking like a real soccer team or football team. But I actually am next week, a week from today, I'm going to a game. I'm going to France versus Iraq in Philly. So that should be a blast. France is they're one of the higher ranked nations. They have Mbappe, Olise, Dembele up front. So those are all top dogs.
France and Spain. Go ahead, Jay. Go ahead.
I was going to say what you were going to say. For France and Spain are both favored to win the World Cup this year. On a limb,
Spain today. Who did they play today? They tied. They tied like a.
They tied with Cape Verde. Their first time participant in the World Cup. They actually tied with them.
Yeah, no, I watched a little bit of that, and that's the beauty. That's the beauty of it. It's like March Madness. You have those Cinderella stories where, these teams would never sniff each other, and they got put in a pool, and now they get a chance to make a name for themselves. So there's beauty in that.
Yeah, absolutely. When you like watching the watch parties of these countries when they watch their fellow countrymen play in these games, it's truly amazing. Like it's like you said, it's like March Madness. It's truly amazing. The good thing about it is all the games are televised on Fox, FS1, and Peacock,
Telemundo.
Telemundo as well. So I've been able to keep up a little bit with it. I'm not gonna lie to people, make it seem like I watch soccer every day. I don't. But the World Cup, to me, the World Cup is like the Stanley Cup Finals. Like I watched the Stanley Cup Finals.
You're locked in.
Yeah, I'm a lock in, just like I'm a lock in with the World Cup. Going back to Team USA, they played Friday night. That game was on Fox. You, Matt, the soccer expert that we'll lean on, you said it, and Alexi Lawless said it. He was the commentator on Fox. He said it. Oh my God. Well, I hate to say that you and him kind of said the same thing, but you said it. You said that Team USA, that might have been the best they played in 15 years. He said that first half was the best he's seen in a long time with Team USA. If I'm not mistaken, they were up 3-0 at half, and then they cruised to win 4-1 at the end of the game. So how far do you think this Team USA can go in the World Cup? I'm hearing some people say quarterfinal, man.
If they played like they did, I would say quarterfinal. Wishful thinking, maybe semi.
Woo. Okay.
That's if they keep it up.
If they keep it
up,
they
gotta keep it up. And I think Pulisic might have picked up an injury. If Pulisic picked up an injury, no, because once Pulisic puts on the USA jersey, he turns into Captain America. He puts that shit on. But I think I think he's like. It's dated. They haven't really came out and said like if he's with the extent of his injury. So I think if he's all right, they'll be fine. But I think everyone clicking and really like playing together, that was special to see. I think that the striker, I think his name's Balogun. I read an article about him. It was actually. So his mom, he was from his parents were from overseas. They came over here for something, and his mother was pregnant with him, but they wouldn't let her fly back because she was too far along. So she ended up having him in New York City, and that's how he became an American citizen because he has three citizenships. So that's how he became an American citizen, and that's the only reason that he's playing for us.
Wow. Crazy how things work. Crazy how God works in mysterious ways.
Right.
Leave it at that point. Matt, your pick to win the 2026 World Cup is
France.
France. Okay.
France. They have currently. I mean, their front three. Like their front three attackers all have a chance to win the best player in the world, the Ballon d'Or. So I think that speaks volumes. I think if you took their team, so their first team, second team, and some of the essentially third team, they would all be starting on other teams. Wow. Like their depth is ridiculous.
Well, we've seen it all sports, whether it's hockey, basketball, football, and now soccer. If you have a team and you have a team full of depth, that works to your advantage because
take you all away.
Yeah, because the depth can wear the other team down, and you can keep your guys fresh. You can put your key guys in at the pivotal right moments, and they'll be more fresher than the opposite team.
That's essentially what Spain tried to do today when they brought in the younger kid, Lamine Yamal. He's like 18, but he came in second place last year for the best player in the world at 17. But they brought him in at like the 70th minute, and he was just cutting everybody up. But ended up being a tie.
Nah, for sure. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we hope you guys check out the World Cup again. World Cup is airing on Fox, FS1, and Telemundo. It's a great soccer. It's a great tournament, As we said, it's like March Madness. It's like the Stanley Cup. It's like the Super Bowl. Make sure you guys check it out. Matt, we can't thank you enough for coming on the show, brother. We appreciate you for coming on.
I appreciate it, guys.
Appreciate you, my guy. Always good seeing you, man.
Always. Hey, y'all be safe, all right?
Yeah, sure. Matt, before you go, let me give a plug out to your gyms where you train at. Ladies and gentlemen, Grind Gyms. You catch Matt at these 3 locations. White Marsh, it's 24/7. 1116 Middle River Road, Suite F. You can catch him out. Howard County, 2011. Harford County, 2113 Columbia Park Road, Edgewood, Maryland, 2104. You can catch him downtown Baltimore, 601 East Pratt Street, Suite 400, Baltimore, Maryland, 21202. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break. That was the great Matt Healy. You're watching Highly Opinionated. We will be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, this episode of Highly Opinionated is sponsored by Wolves of War. In some of the episodes, you can see my co-host and Ross wearing a brand called Wolves of War. Wolves of War is our first sponsor, ladies and gentlemen, and we are so thankful to have those guys sponsoring Highly Opinionated. Thank you very much. The actual meaning of Wolves of War is that it represents having a strong path behind you through the battles of life. With the right people behind you, you can get through anything. You guys see the link for Wolves of War? Make sure you guys click on the link, shop, great apparels, t-shirts, sweatsuits, whatever you want, they have. Once again, Wolves of War. Make sure you guys go shop. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Highly Opinionated. We're going to end episode 88 with our NBA offseason predictions. I'll start us off. I have 3 offseason predictions, 4 in total, 3 new ones. 1 is an old one. Ladies and gentlemen, I said this 2 years ago about Memphis and Ja Morant. The Memphis Grizzlies. The Memphis Grizzlies need to trade Ja Morant. They need to trade him. You can't win with a knucklehead like that. He's a great player. He's a great player. But his focus isn't on basketball, it's on other things. He wants to be something other than a basketball player. You have Desmond Bane, you have Scottie Pippen Jr., you have Jaren Jackson. Trade Ja Morant, get a boatload of picks, get a boatload of whatever you can get, players/picks, and then build your team up that way. For me, since Ja Morant 2.5 years ago said, I'm good in the West. He was sitting down with Malik Andrews. The man said, I'm good in the West. They ain't been to no conference finals. I don't even think they've been out the first round. No, they've been out the first round one time. Because they beat Ant-Man in Minnesota. They were catting them, and they shouldn't have beat them. But they've been to the second round one time. This is a man who said he's good in the West. I think the Memphis Grizzlies need to trade Ja Morant, get the assets that they can get for him, build an actual team. You have Desmond Bane, you have Scottie Pippen Jr., you have Zaire Williams, and you have Jaren Jackson. You have Jaren Jackson Jr. You can build the team up that way. Trade Ja Morant, get some guys in there that basketball is the end-all be-all, and let's rock out. As you guys heard, I should say, I said that Memphis should trade Ja Morant. Obviously, Memphis will trade Ja Morant this offseason. John, any thoughts on where you think Ja Morant should go?
Yeah, that actually kind of leads into one of my predictions. I'll save that for after you're done.
Okay, my bad. I'm sorry. Okay, let me since this leads into one of your predictions, let me rephrase the question then. Shouldn't Memphis have traded Ja Morant like 2 or 3 years ago? We would have been right. We were first on this, right, brother? Like they should have been traded Ja Morant.
1,000%. While his value was there, Memphis should have definitely traded Ja Morant. Now they're struggling to find a trading partner. Way too long.
John, this was the moment Ja Morant knew he fucked up. He was sitting down with Malik Andrews and he said, I'm good in the West. Since then, Oklahoma City won the championship. The Spurs have emerged. Denver is still Denver. We think Houston gonna be something. Look at Utah. Utah, my sleeper. Look at that front line. They got Lauri Markkanen and Walker Kessler, Triple J, and then they're gonna get somebody at the second pick, either DeBonsa or Peterson. I keep calling him Peterson. So watch out for the Jazz as well coming into next season. So Ja Morant, I mentioned that 2 years ago. We'll be right. JG and myself will be right on that. He'll be traded. So my 3 new offseason predictions going into this offseason. Let's start off with Giannis Antetokounmpo. Giannis Antetokounmpo will be traded to the Boston Celtics. Yes. I think Giannis will be a Boston Celtic. I think he will be traded in a multi-team trade. I think Jaylen Brown will either go to the Portland Trail Blazers, the Los Angeles Clippers, or the Houston Rockets. I do not think Jaylen Brown gets traded straight up for Giannis. So I think the Giannis Antetokounmpo, Jason Tatum watch will be underway this season, this 2026-2027 NBA season. And a special tidbit, I like to play schedule maker. The NBA season will start on NBC as it did last year. Let me do this. Shout out to the NBA media coverage. Shout out to Ernie Johnson and ESPN and ABC. I thought Inside the NBA was going to hell. At times, I thought it wasn't the same show, but for the most part, it was. I'll give them their credit. Shout out to Amazon, the lovely Taylor Rooks, Dirk Nowitzki, Steve Nash, Udonis Haslem, Blake Griffin. They did a great job. And shout out to NBC, Maria Taylor, Vince Carter, Carmelo Anthony, Tracy McGrady. I thought they did well for their first year. Mike Tirico, one of the best announcers of all time. Jamal Crawford, Reggie Miller. Shout out to those. Shout out to the three media markets that have it. But again, getting back to my point, NBC.
Kevin Harlan, can't forget that guy.
Kevin Harlan, Amazon on Prime. Dwayne Wade, Candace Parker, Stan Van Gundy, Iron Eagle. Shout out to those guys as well. But with Giannis going to the Celtics in my NBA offseason predictions, first game you'll see is the Boston Celtics will travel to New York City when the Knicks get their championship rings, and the Knicks will be unveil the championship banner in the rings, and they'll be taking on Jason Tatum and Giannis Antetokounmpo. So watch out for that. My second offseason prediction: everyone takes something away from a champion, and I think the Knicks winning the championship showed the world the best way to compel Victor Wembanyama. Have you a big that can stretch the floor? Who's the biggest threat to the San Antonio Spurs in the Western Conference? The Oklahoma City Thunder. So there you guys see it. The Oklahoma City Thunder should sign a big man that can stretch the floor, that stretches the floor, that takes Victor Wembanyama away from the paint, opens the paint up for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, J-Dub, Mitchell, Wallace, etc., whoever the Oklahoma City Thunder decides to keep going into the 26-27 NBA season. My last NBA offseason prediction: the Washington Wizards have the number one pick. And they got the number one pick because they traded Luka Doncic, Cooper Flag, the injuries of Kyrie Irving, and Anthony Davis. And Anthony Davis was traded from Dallas to Washington. I don't think Anthony Davis ever plays a game for the Washington Wizards, in my opinion. So I think Anthony Davis gets traded to the Golden State Warriors. The Golden State Warriors will strike out on Giannis Antetokounmpo. So the next best thing to get, if you can't get Giannis, I guess, is to get Anthony Davis, who is somewhat a poor man's version of Giannis, what he is currently in today's NBA landscape and market. So I have Anthony Davis getting traded to the Golden State Warriors. So my three offseason predictions: Giannis gets traded to Boston. Boston opens up the season on NBC against the Knicks in the first game of the season. The Thunder find a way to get a stretch 4, stretch 5 big man that can stretch the floor and hit and take Wemby away from the basket. And the Golden State Warriors, they swung for Giannis Antetokounmpo. They didn't get him. They end up with Anthony Davis.
I like that one right there with Anthony Davis going to Golden State. I think it makes a ton of sense. The best thing about doing this, man, is just when you have haters, you popping, right? I remember a guy on his own show, I think it's called Club JG. He said something about the Celtics trading Jaylen Brown. I remember the comments, saying like, "Hey, cut this guy's mic off."
Cut his mic off. What is this guy talking about?
As soon as you said, I'm reading comments right now. As soon as you said trade Jaylen Brown, I immediately swiped up to the next video. This is what was being said to that guy. It's funny how all of a sudden that's starting to gain a little bit of traction now to a point where it's very possible that could happen. This is part of the reason I love doing what I do. I just want to say that. For my predictions, I'm kind of like literally swinging for the fences here. Like, this could be ridiculous. Say what you want, but you need some bold takes when you talk about off-season predictions. I don't want to be all boring. I want to say something crazy. I believe that, number one, Giannis Antetokounmpo and Ja Morant will be traded to the Miami Heat.
Wow.
Tell me a better place like for Ja Morant to restart his career than under Pat Riley in that culture with Miami. Now, I understand the city of Miami probably isn't the best place. If you heard LeBron James over the weekend, he had a comment saying like, hey, if you're 25 years old, I don't recommend you going to the city of Miami. You got to have a pretty damn strong mindset. And he is correct. Mm-hmm. Miami is special. If you haven't been, you need to go find out. But I think Ja Morant is, from a basketball perspective, I think it's the best place for him. I think it's a way where like he needs discipline and he needs a culture. Eric Spoelstra, Pat Riley will be perfect for Ja Morant. I believe they will bring the best out of him. They will get him back to, I believe, an all-star caliber player, which I believe he still is. And for Giannis Antetokounmpo, this guy already emblemizes the Miami Heat culture. He already represents that. He's all about basketball. He's all about training, eating right, doing what you got to do to be ready for the season. That's who Giannis Antetokounmpo is. Imagine that pairing, and then you got to figure out Bam Adebayo with Giannis. I understand that because Bam Adebayo isn't exactly a stretch big. Yes, he can hit threes, but you're not going to be hugging Bam Adebayo out there on the perimeter. You're going to sag off a little bit to do with Giannis. But I feel like now, if you can find a way to keep Tyler Hero and then bring in Ja Morant with Giannis and maybe keep Bam, I think Miami will have
Who is Miami trading to get these guys if they're keeping Tyler Hero?
I'm saying, man, who knows? I'm just saying, look, again, these are my crazy predictions. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't make it. Did it make a ton of sense? Probably not. But I've seen crazier things happen.
Yeah,
so
we have.
That's my first one. The second one here, maybe not as crazy, but I think the Utah Jazz trade up with the Washington Wizards to get the number 1 pick and draft AJ DeBonta. AJ DeBonta is a Utah guy. Utah prep in high school, and they're going to BYU. Rumblings are saying that he doesn't want to not be in Utah. He would love to be with the Jazz more so than DC. I mean, if you saw his face, when the Wizards won the draft lottery, it kind of told you a lot. But I think the Jazz will keep the Utah kid in Utah, and they'll do what they got to do. Whether even if it means trading one of their young core to the Washington Wizards to get that number 1 pick, and I think AJ DeBonta will be drafted by the Utah Jazz in this year's upcoming draft. And then my last one is probably the craziest one of all. Don't quote me on this, but if it happens, I want to make sure that we save this tape. I believe that LeBron James will sign as a free agent with the New York Knickerbockers.
Wow.
Tell me a better storybook ending for one of the greatest players you've ever seen than in Gotham City, alongside Jalen Brunson, alongside Karl Anthony Towns, OG Anunoby. After coming off a championship for the first time in 53 years, you talk about lighting New York City on fire. This would throw freaking gasoline into a volcano if LeBron James were to sign with the New York Knicks. You're gonna have Knicks fans sticking their chests out like the damn Dallas Cowboy fans. We win another one. And you know what? That'd be good for the NBA. That'd be awesome for the NBA to have the Knicks as the most hated team in the league. I can tell you right now, they would be instantly the most hated team in the NBA if you add LeBron James to that team. Everyone's going to be praying for their downfall. Everyone's going to be waiting for them to lose. But you know what? It's damn good for the NBA to have a villain like that. I believe LeBron James will sign with the New York Knicks to end his storybook career.
3 amazing and great offseason predictions. Giannis and Ja Morant to Miami. I like that. I just asked about Tyler Hero. I just think they got to trade somebody to get him. But if they can make that happen, which I think
unlikely, but yeah.
I think Boston is the number 1 option for Giannis, but I think it's either Boston or Miami. He's going to one of those 2 places. And if Miami does get Giannis, they do need to trade for. I think that's a perfect. I like that. Washington and Utah basically trade draft spots, and the Jazz select AJ DeBonta. We both like that. Obviously, BYU is familiar with the state of Utah, so familiar with that. That's good. And then your last one, I love it. LeBron signing with the New York Knicks. Again, the Knicks had Finals MVP and Jalen Brunson. You have Karl Anthony Towns. You have OG Anunoby. You have Josh Hart. You have Mikal Bridges. But guess who they have? Guess who's familiar with LeBron? Good old Mike Brown. He was his former head coach with the Cleveland Cavaliers. So I like that a lot. Mike would understand what LeBron needs and what LeBron needs at this age, and what he can do with him. And for LeBron, just come in and play your game because you don't have to stick the best player. You don't have to have the ball. You don't have to have the offense ran through. You can just play basketball.
LeBron James is a businessman too, as well. Let's make sure we include that. He's a brilliant businessman. You're bringing your brand to New York City.
Yeah, that's it.
The opportunity off the court is, boundless.
Absolutely.
You come play for the Knicks, who just won a championship, and you drop LeBron James in there. The city, like I said, the city's on fire now. You're throwing gasoline into a volcano if you make that happen.
Absolutely, for sure. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the NBA season is over. Congratulations to the New York Knicks. We are officially in the offseason. The draft is about 10 to 12 days away. We'll be here to cover all the NBA offseason news as it progresses. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for watching episode 88, the best sports show out, for the best editor, the best producer, the best guy here on Highly Opinionated Ross, for the best co-host in the game, my guy, the host of the Club JG podcast, JG. Give us a quick synopsis of what's on tap for Club JG this week.
You guys will see my reaction to the NBA Finals. You already saw about the Knicks, and I'm going to give my take on the San Antonio side of things. Why I believe San Antonio did everything they could to waste a golden opportunity, and why I don't think it's a guarantee that the Spurs will be back to the finals. We have to pump our brakes there.
Absolutely. History shows us well that just because you make the finals, the 1995 Orlando Magic, next time Shaq went back to the finals, he was wearing a different uniform. He's one of the Lakers. 2012 Oklahoma City Thunder, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant. Russell Westbrook and James Harden went to the finals in 2012. They haven't been back to the finals since. The next time Kevin Durant went back to the finals, he had a different jersey on. So you are 100% right. Ladies and gentlemen,
Serge Ibaka leaving that Thunder team, won it with Toronto.
Won it with Toronto, had a different jersey on the next time he went back to the NBA Finals. 1,000% right. So, ladies and gentlemen, you make sure you like, follow, subscribe, my brother. He's doing great things with the Club JG podcast. I am merely Josh. We'll see you guys next week for episode 89. We are out.